Hey guys, the WeedPornDaily Podcast is brought to you by the WeedPornDaily Stoner Shop. T-shirts, hoodies, flip-flops, stickers, magnets, iPhone cases, laptop skins. We've got it all to accessorize you or your belongings. Pimp yourself out in some stoner swag, and show your friends that you're a cannabis connoisseur. Check out the latest line of THC and CBD organic molecule designs, and the new Ganja Grouch line currently in development. Get a sneak peek over at shop.WeedPornDaily.com. Any and all purchases help keep the website up and running, as well as fuel giveaways and contests, and they go to charity as well towards pro legalization and pro cannabis movements. So please head over to the shop.weedporndaily.com and make some excellent purchases. Welcome to the WeedPornDaily Podcast. I am Grouch, the editor, owner, designer, the dude, stoner, super stoner, rather, behind WeedPornDaily.com. Follow us on Twitter, at WeedPornDaily. Follow us on Tumblr, blog.weedporndaily.com. And follow us on Google+. You can find that link at WeedPornDaily.com. Follow us on YouTube. I think it's like youtube.com/user/WeedPornDaily. I think that's all the social networks. Make sure to follow us on all of them, because we do post updates on all the social networks, or at least we try to on a frequent basis. Today, I've got 3 interesting articles to talk about. I've got a little personal rant, because I always have to rant. There's always something to rant about in life, something to get off your chest. Some developments in the WeedPornDaily offices, and just a little personal chat, because I saw something interesting. Saw the 20th anniversary High Times Cannabis Cup documentary for the first time, and it was insightful. It was a nice thing to watch, even sober. So I'll get into that later. But first off, news. If you'd like to follow along, just go to weeducation.weedporndaily.com. That's that may be hard to understand if you're a first-time user. You can just go to WeedPornDaily.com and click on the WeedEducation button up in the navigation menu if you can't spell that out. But the first article I want to talk about is in the science tag specifically. Do deficits in brain cannabinoids contribute to eating disorders? This is from ScienceDaily.com by... Do they give their authors credit? I do not see that. It's from Science Daily. A new report in Biological Psychiatry suggests that deficits in endocannabinoid function may contribute to anorexia nervosa and bulimia. Endocannabinoids are substances made by the brain that affect brain function and chemistry in ways that resemble the effects of cannabis derivatives, including marijuana and hashish. These commonly abused drugs are well known to increase appetite, i.e. to cause the munchies. Thus, it would make sense that deficits in this brain system would be associated with reduced appetite. It's definitely an article worth digging into. It talks about how the CB1 receptors are the ones that actually show deficiencies, and it actually tells you what those receptors, do, and how it relates to anorexia and eating disorders. But yet another win for cannabis, really, showing that it has even more medical use than we could have imagined, and yet it's still Schedule 1 under U.S. law. It's pretty ridiculous. Under Schedule 1, by the way, where it supposedly has no medical use and may not be researched or very strictly controlled research, which apparently doesn't happen. But yeah, another win, man. And really a win for anorexia and bulimia, because I know that that's still a really rampant problem in society. Like it was kind of a 90s thing, where it was almost a joke going around, and you saw it a lot in movies and pop culture in general. But the word has died out, but it's still really rampant with a lot of women. It's really sad. So it would be nice for these women to finally be able to reach some normalcy, or not normalcy necessarily, just healthy life, and then they can reach normalcy themselves. But good health for the people. We'll see. We'll see if these people are full of shit, because, well, I doubt it. It makes sense, man. Munchies and anorexia. Like, I don't know why this wasn't released earlier. It seems like a no-brainer. Hopefully the science is right, though. The next article, on a more political level. I don't know if you guys have been following along with the news, but in Uruguay, some really interesting things have been happening, where the government has actually decided to sell legal marijuana. The government will open up, government licensed shops and sell marijuana to the people. And it's incredible. It's the first time that's ever happened, like ever. Well, maybe not ever, but it's the first time this has happened worldwide. Like, no other country is doing this, and I couldn't imagine that many countries would dream of doing this. So it's really like a big leap for marijuana legalization and just ending the war on drugs. But the article, sorry for the big fucking forward there, Jesus. Uruguay's legal marijuana and abortion policies demonstrate President Mujica, I don't know how to pronounce that, politics. This is from the HuffPost, HuffingtonPost.com, by Michael Warren, from the AP. Uruguayans used to call their country the Switzerland of Latin America, but its faded gray capital seems a bit more like Amsterdam now that its Congress has legalized abortion and is drawing up plans to sell government-grown marijuana. Both measures would be unthinkable in many other countries. Cuba is the only other nation in the region that makes first trimester abortions accessible to all women, and no other country in the world produces and sells pot for drug users to enjoy. But President Jorge Pepe Mujica, a flower-farming former leftist guerrilla, vowed to sign whatever bill Congress could settle on that would minimize the 30,000 illegal abortions his government says Uruguayan women suffer annually. And while lawmakers have yet to debate pot sales, Mujica's ruling Broad Front coalition staked its grounds in August by openly declaring the drug war has failed. Smoking pot, if not growing and selling it, is already legal in Uruguay, and supplying the weed is a $30 million business, the government said. So it's really I'm in love with this article. It's a bleeding logic here. It's saying there's a market, people are gonna do it, so why don't we just provide it to them? And the money that we make will go towards not only helping society, helping the rehabs, helping the people, but it'll help develop the country even more and take away from any organized crime. It's a win-win-win-win. Like it's the most logical step. Well, not the most logical, but way better than any other country has been deciding lately. So this is incredible news coming out of Uruguay. I would keep your eyes on this flower in Latin America, definitely. And the last article, damn, I should have made this the first article, but the last article is a bit sad. It's Georgia man holding pepper spray killed in drug raid. It's brought to us by StopTheDrugWar.org by Philip Smith. By the way, check out StopTheDrugWar.org. It's an excellent resource for any cannabis news or activism related news. Georgia police executing a drug search warrant shot and killed the 60-year-old homeowner holding a canister of pepper spray. During a confrontation last Wednesday. Daniel John Thomas Hammett becomes the 51st person to die in the U.S. domestic drug law enforcement operations so far this year. According to Paulding County Sheriff's Office, agents with the Haralson-Paulding Narcotics Task Force had been investigating the home's occupants for selling drugs and had made several drug purchases as well as getting complaints from neighbors. Sheriff spokesman Corporal Ashley Henson said that before the shooting, officers knocked on the door of the residents in the Huron and announced who they were. Then they entered the home, although Henson didn't make clear how they did so, and encountered Hammett in a darkened hallway. It was very dark because the windows in the front portion of the residence had been covered and were blacked out, Henson said. When agents first made contact with Hammett, they instructed him to show his hands, and he initially did not comply. Hammett raised his hands up in an aggressive manner while he was holding a black, shiny object when she pointed towards the agents, Henson said. It was then the agent opened fire on Mr. Hammett, fatally striking him once, Henson explained. It was later determined that Hammett had raised a canister of pepper spray towards the agents. I guess I should keep reading because that's really important information. Hammett was airlifted to Grady Memorial Hospital in Atlanta, where he died later that afternoon, and Hammett's son Clyde challenged the police version of events in an interview with WSB-TV later that same day. His father was arthritic, unarmed, and there was nothing in his hands or next to him after he fell to the floor, he said. Clyde Hammett was also said that there were no drugs found at the house. They killed him. They killed an innocent man, and that's all there is to say to it, Clyde Hammett said. They say he was armed. They can search all they want. There were no guns in that house. So yet another person dies in the U.S.'s fight against the evil drugs. I'm guessing in this case cannabis. Because, I don't know why. Well, I guess you would dark out any drug house. But, it's really sad. Another death. 51st. I mean, this is a joke compared to the Mexican number of deaths in their drug war. Or really our drug war, because it's all connected. But, still, this is our people. This is U.S. citizens dying at the hands of the U.S. government. That's it in fucking layman terms. It's ridiculous. It's really sad. I mean, I could understand if there was like a meth lab in there or something, or I don't know, some haul of guns and he was part of a cartel, I could understand that. You know, you want to stomp down crime. But goddamn, dude. Yeah. A downer. Sorry, guys. I was gonna make that the first one, and make the prospects of legalization in the future the last ones to give you guys a little hope. But you know, that's the fucking way the world works, man. Sometimes you get a little dirt at the end, and you deal with it. Actually, it's perfect because it lets me go right into the Ganja Grouch rant. This week has been pissing me the fuck off because as I collect the news for you guys, WeedPornDaily.com/tag/news, I've been discovering a number of opinion editorial articles penned in, particularly in the states where marijuana legalization is happening. And these editorials are not the most savory? They're not the best articles in the world. They're all prohibition, propaganda, and drug war rhetoric, perpetuated by fear-mongering, I don't want to say that they're parents necessarily. It's just fear-mongering ignorance. Ignoramuses, mongrels. No, not mongrels. That's fucked up. They're ignorant. They ignorant. One article in particular, or really all the articles, harp on it. It's the same reefer madness that you hear all the time. Think of the children. How could we legalize cannabis if the children are already smoking it a lot in schools? And I actually had to comment on one of the articles and point out that a recent study was shown that cannabis use has risen, but alcohol and cigarette use has declined incredibly. Now, which of those three is illegal and unregulated? Think about it. Do drug dealers ID? No, they don't. Do dispensaries? Yes. Actually, the particular article that I commented on was in Fort Collins, Colorado specifically, and not only was the Amendment 64 being discussed, but there's a particular, I think, I forget the particular measure name, but it's for the Fort Collins Medical Marijuana Dispensary Act, or whatever. Like, it's to allow medical marijuana dispensaries in Fort Collins again. And if any of you guys watched American Weed on National Geographic, that was one of the big things in the show. Like, they had a guy railing against medical marijuana dispensaries, and he got a movement passed that got them banned. So this would enable the dispensaries to open again. And this guy was, in the editorial, was talking shit about it, saying, why do we want dispensaries? Why do we need these places to sell pot to our kids? It's absolutely ridiculous. It's these ignorant people taking your children, our children, and using them against us as tools of fear. It's incredible. It's sad that anybody falls for it. Really. I don't know why that people just don't draw the parallel between a cannabis dispensary and a liquor store, where both are regulated storefronts that if anybody who doesn't have a license or fits the strict state-sanctioned guidelines, they will get taken down. If a kid walks into a dispensary and the dispensary is stupid enough to sell to him, and they get ratted out, they're gonna get fucking taken down. It's happened multiple times. I think I've reported on it on WeedPornDaily.com. Multiple times where the DEA will actually send in agents to try and buy marijuana without a license, and if sales are completed, they take those dispensaries to court and they get them shut down, and that's that. So I don't know what logic lies behind the anti-legalization movement. I mean, there is logic behind it. Let me not say that, because I've actually posted some very good debates on it, where people talk about, namely, the problems with the DUID measures, but just problems in general with marijuana legalization, where they talk about the children, or they talk about how the streets will be filled with pot smokers once it's legal, or just any of this. It's absolutely crazy that the reefer madness has lasted this long. That one film and one movement in, was it the 70s? My history's horrible. That the government spread these lies, and they've lasted this long, and they're still going strong. And even with the power of the internet in people's hands, they still cannot disseminate the difference between this propaganda and the truth. It's crazy. I'm preaching to a choir here. I'm sorry, you guys. I had to get that off my chest. It's been a week of a lot of anti-marijuana news, and I just wish that there was more pro stuff that was released to kind of balance it out. I mean, there were some those nice articles in Uruguay and namely the eating disorder that helped, and one article with the testing of the tolerance, also in the news tag. So those were good news, but I just want people coming out in op-eds, speaking for cannabis. I've seen it before, and I wanted to see it this week, where I've seen people now voting on these measures, Measure 80, Amendment 64, and I-502, Initiative 502 in Washington. I just want to see the cannabis community pushing their rhetoric forward, so that the people hear the truth and not these lies. So get out there, talk to your friends, let them know the good word of the green, man. Tell them about these crazy articles that you've been reading about on WeedPornDaily, the science behind it, and how cannabis is the future for economy, for the health of humans, for the well-being of humans. It's way better than fucking coffee. Let's put it that way. Developments in WeedPornDaily.com. I'm constantly working on this website that you see. And this week in particular, I've been actually trying to create a new line of products on the WeedPornDaily Stoner shop. That's shop.weedporndaily.com. Ganja Grouch. If you guys don't know, I don't know if you guys know, but I have taken over the persona of Oscar the Grouch. Namely oscarthegrouch.tumblr.com. Once I got that URL, I was pretty set on keeping it. But I've always kind of associated myself with the Grouch, because I am kind of grouchy, and he looks like a big nug, and I love weed. It was meant to be. I'm him reincarnated. He's me reincarnated. We're not sure yet. You feel me? So I'm working on this new series for the WeedPorn Daily shop, where I put. Well, first off, I've got them released already. It's just the actual Grouch's face with a nice fat joint or coner in his mouth, and his eyes blazed as fuck, and his actual eyebrows, I made them out of the orange hairs of nugs. So he's definitely Ganja Grouch, and that's the first stage of development. But I'm actually planning on doing a couple pieces where I take nugs and I make them actually look like they're him, and I use that face as, you know, the face. So it'll be interesting. I hope you guys like it. I'm always trying to do silly shit for the website, memes and googly eye ganja and shit. I don't know. Can't take it too seriously all the time with the activism and the news and the FAQ and the strain dispensary or database rather. So yeah, check out the shop. It's I've got some stickers up already and magnets, and there's a couple T-shirts. The best one is for females because it's that perfect Oscar the Grouch green with the face. Other than that, I've got them on white. And it looks interesting. The face looks interesting on white. I like it that way. But I'll be doing more developments later, so keep an eye on that. And keep an eye on the WeedPornDaily website and Tumblr. Because I post sales all the time. Cafe Press posts coupons all the fucking time. So you'll be able to get these designs on discount if you can't necessarily afford the prices. Other than that, I've been working on the strain database, trying to fill that up. It's really hard. I mean, there are over 700 strains, I think it is, and I've done like 20 tops. I think that's giving myself too many. I think I did like 15. But the latest ones I've done, I believe, are Jack Herrera, Banana Kush, Big Booty Cheese. You can check those out by going to WeedPornDaily.com/cannabis/ say Jack-Herrera, and you can, there's like a list on the right with all the strains I've done so far. I'm trying to integrate it into the website, but I'm trying to get more entries in before I do that. I've got a lot to go. But learn about your favorite strains. I've got the genetics in there. I've got the THC content for some of them, CBD, CBN. I've got the story behind some of the famous strains, as well as related strains, related videos, pictures. You can even buy some of the seeds for some of these popular and fruitful strains. So check it out, man. WeedPornDaily.com or db.weedporndaily.com. The strain database. You can check out all the strains and their THC, CBD, and CBN contents. And on a more personal level, this isn't really news because it's really fucking old. But I saw the High Times Cannabis Cup 20th anniversary documentary today, and I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. I picked it out just to get more gifts for the website, and maybe just to get a little insight into what it is, or at least just see more of it, because I don't know, the more you see, the better, because I've never been. And it turned out to be much better than I expected it. They talked to a lot of really big names, Danny Danko, Soma, Arjan. It was the Amsterdam Cannabis Cup in particular, and they discussed man, it's just so much. I'll just go step by step. I don't want to over talk, but I'll over talk because I have to. They discussed in the beginning something that I thought was a nice difference between most cannabis cups that I've seen, particularly the ones in the U.S. The Amsterdam one, you actually walk around to each of the coffee shops, and you get like a map, and you have to actually traverse the Dutch town. So you're not stuck in like a big convention center all day. You're actually going around. You're experiencing the town. You can stop and get a bite to eat at like a restaurant. It's much more of an open experience, which I think is way better in a lot of regards. And that led into an interesting discussion that I found it really interesting. That I thought, this is a High Times produced documentary, and the editor, Danny Danko, I believe it was, of High Times, was discussing how the event itself may be unfair. And he talked about how the bigger seed companies are coming in, and they have a lot of money to spend, so they throw a lot of marketing and publicity into the events, where they give out a lot of free bud, they give out rolling papers, they give out t-shirts, they give out a lot of free swag, and that entices people a lot more to vote for their strains. And the smaller groups, the individuals who may come in and grow strains, and they want to get their names in, they can't really compete with these people who have so much money behind them. It was really reminiscent of just the political atmosphere right now in the U.S. But apparently the smaller strains have actually won. Excuse me. The smaller strains have actually won many times. So they say it's biased, but if it really is good weed, it does break through. But sometimes the best weed may not necessarily win. Sometimes it's just the best marketed weed, the iPod of weeds. So that was an interesting take, and that kind of led into the judging aspect, which was just excessive. And I mean, I say it's excessive, but it wasn't really excessive, but it's just there to make everybody fucking jealous who's watching. Where they sit like 7 stoners down in a room, they give them handmade pipes with like the High Times Cannabis Cup name emblazed into it. They have one person there dedicated to just rolling joints. They have a magnifying glass that shows them the trichomes, and then they have one that's connected to a TV so that they can actually sit in a round table discussion and talk about the actual glands, trichome glands. So it's absurd the level of fucking connoisseurship that's going on in there. It's something to really be jealous of. Anybody who gets to judge or be a celebrity judge for High Times, it's a one-in-a-lifetime experience. But that particular topic bled into something that has been resolved in recent cups. But I thought that was interesting, that it was like a discussion that was raised in this particular documentary, where they said that someone actually submitted an indica into the sativa category, and there was no way to test, whether or not it was indica or sativa or not. You just had to take the grower's word for it. And everybody who looked at the bud knew that it wasn't sativa, but it was still submitted, and nobody said anything, nobody did anything, because it wasn't against any rules or anything. And it raised an interesting argument. Should these people just be able to submit anything they want? And this was resolved in recent years with I forget the actual term for it. It's like gastronomy. It's not gastro, but it has to do with scientists in a lab taking cannabis, and they actually, it's been happening with dispensaries all over California, Colorado, mostly the medical marijuana states. They tell you the exact amount of THC, they tell you the exact amount of CBN, etc., all the cannabinoids, and some places actually are able to tell you where the plants derive from, like the actual genetics. So this has probably cleared up any problems in recent cups where they're taken down to a lab. I've actually seen in videos, if you go to the WeedPornDaily YouTube and look up the Cannabis Cup, you can see some videos where they actually show you the THC content for their entries. But in the 20th anniversary Amsterdam Cup, they didn't have this access to technology that they had in recent years, so they had to take people's word for it. And one of I forget the guy who did it, but it was one of the people who actually run the event. He was the one who submitted the indica into the sativa category, and he hired 2 actors to pretend that they were like a new seed company who were submitting this bud. And he did that as like an example, to show that you could make a mockery of the event. Like it wasn't right yet. The rules weren't set correctly yet, and I thought it was interesting that they touched upon this in the documentary, because it just, you really don't see that with any other convention or any other. Well, maybe you do. I don't really watch any fucking documentaries about other conventions, but someone came in and pranked his own convention. Like he essentially sabotaged the whole thing. Like he made seed companies lose, and they actually show video footage of the seed companies getting interviewed after, and they're like, they were pissed off. They were like, oh, I didn't know that they were smoking joints today, because we brought pipe weed. Or I'm sorry, they were smoking out of pipes. We brought joint weed, which is supposed to be rough on the throat, but we have weed that isn't rough on the throat. Like, they were making mad excuses, being total running away with their tails between their legs. Couldn't believe that they lost. And the guy, the runner of the event did this. It's such a stoner. It's such a stoner thing to do. It's crazy. So kudos to High Times for that, and for this documentary in general. It shows the beginnings of the Cannabis Cup, and it shows some really early footage of some of the canna celebrities smoking, which I thought was really fascinating. You guys might see some GIFs later when I post that up. But a great documentary to check out, made by High Times. You can probably get it through their website, hightimes.com, or just Google it. It's the High Times Cannabis Cup 20th anniversary documentary. Great watch. Highly recommended. Definitely recommend that you smoke during it, though, because it will fucking make you so jealous. Looking at all those people sparking up mad bud, and crazy ass joints. Oh man, wait, before I close that discussion, I almost forgot. They actually have this portion, it was my favorite part. They talk about rolling hash joints, and how, like, hash is incredibly prevalent in the event. It comes from the Middle East, India, Morocco, like all of the major places, and it's imported to there. And they have some local hash as well, but it's mostly imported hash. So it's mad hash everywhere. So they actually take the hash. I'm sure many of you guys have heard of this. They flatten the hash out, and they actually use it to roll joints into like a hash blunt or hash joint, whatever you want to call it. And Redman was one of the judges, and he saw someone roll a hash joint or a hash blunt, and they told he asked him, like, "Yo, dog, how do you do that?" And they were like, "Oh man, here you go, let me show you." He's like, "No, dog, I want to do it." and he rolled himself 2 hash blunts. And apparently he was supposed to go on at around like 10 or 10:30 at the Cannabis Cup to rap a bit. And it was 11 o'clock and he had not left that room. I was like, damn. I mean, damn. I don't blame him, yo. After a hash blunt at the fucking Cannabis Cup or 2, I would be pretty too faded to perform, probably. But they brought apparently people up on stage from the crowd, and they were doing some freestyle stuff. And when Redman finally came out, he did some very nice freestyle. So he recovered. But I thought that was a great story, and the shots of Redman were pretty funny. And just the prospect, just seeing hash blunts, man. You don't really see hash blunts that much. That's like a luxury. That's like baller status right there. So that was very nice. Check it out, man. I think that's it. I don't know. How long has this been going, man? What's up? Oh, shit. I've been talking your ears off for like 40 minutes now. Sorry about that. No, I'm not sorry about that. How about that? I fucked your ear holes. How about that? Yeah, I tickled your ear pussies. I made them come, didn't I? Yeah. Alright. So, in conclusion, really just thank you guys. Thank you guys for supporting the website. Thank you guys for browsing the site. I really appreciate everything. If you guys want to help support WeedPornDaily, you can go to weedporndaily.com/contribute, and you can make a PayPal donation. That goes directly towards. Excuse me. That goes directly towards that. Sorry, I've been burping up a brownie and ice cream I just had. God damn. Guilty pleasure. But you can donate via PayPal, which goes directly towards charities, pro-cannabis movement, and right now it's actually going toward a giveaway/contest for you guys, so you guys will be able to get some free swag. So if you donate, you can help me cover shipping costs and just purchasing some of the stuff needed for the contest. Or you can, actually this is a new thing, you can, if you disable your ad blockers and you click clear cookies and click on the Amazon banners that are up on the website, and you do any shopping at Amazon, we actually get a cut of that. It doesn't cost you a penny more. We just get like a couple cents off of every purchase that you make. And that could be anything. It doesn't have to be weed related at all. You could just be buying cereals for your munchies. You could be buying soil for your crops. Actually, that's all weed related. You could be buying a lawnmower for your yard, man, and we'll get a cut of that. And that all helps keep the website alive, running, and up to date with like the latest in the cannabis news, cannabis culture, and just cannabis knowledge. And entertainment for you guys too. I always forget the entertainment aspect. But yeah, you can help out by also going to the shop. I've said it like 5 times in this podcast. I'll say it one more time. Shop.weedporndaily.com. Buy some t-shirts, iPhone cases, laptop skins, all kinds of stoner swag there. Show your friends that you're a cannabis connoisseur. Thank you guys for listening. This is Grouch signing off. Smoke one for me. Smoke a fat blunt in my honor. While you're in your circle of friends and you pass that blunt, think of me. When you cough and you think you might die, but then you just end up being really high, think of me. When you're so high you forget to light up the other joint, and then you do light it up, and you get even higher. Think of me. Thank you very much. Stay regular, super stoners.